Hey guys, I'm John from Maffmanjones Reviews, and today I'm going to review Total Recall. Total Recall stars Arnold Swarzenheimer, and it's basically about a... What? Wrong movie? What? Damn it! Total Recall, the remake. So this very inspired remake stars Colin Farrell, Kate Beckinsale, Jessica Biel, and Bryan Cranston. It is directed by Len Wiseman, whose name you might recognize from the Underworld films, and the story is basically about this guy who's tired of the average, everyday, normal life, and he just wants to get away, and he wants to live out a fantasy, and that fantasy comes from this company, this whole Get Out Cup thing called Total Recall with a K. Not a C like in the title. Despite having Kate Beckinsale as a wife, he actually visits this place and wants to have a new fantasy and live out something instead of his usual life. And some really crazy shit happens. So this is another remake upon thousands of remakes that have come out in the last 5 to 10 years. And I was willing to give this the benefit of the doubt because I thought it looked really visually amazing and there was some good talent behind it. Well, that's kind of pushing it, but it looked okay. It looked good. At the end of the day, I enjoyed this movie. I had fun with it, but that does not mean that this movie was good. No, sir. I personally felt that the first act of this movie was pretty well done. I mean, not great, but to the extent it was pretty decent. I mean, I liked the way all the characters were set up. I liked all the futuristic gadgets and everything about the atmosphere of the movie. I mean, this movie visually, I have to say, it visually looked awesome. I'm not gonna lie, I had like this really weird Blade Runner vibe. Essentially, there were a lot of neat ideas, and there was some nice inspired creations in this movie, visually. If not for anything else in this movie, Kate Beckinsale and Jessica Biel, they are, and they combine to be the epitome of sex. Kate Beckinsale is still hot as ever. She's still good. If you are a man, a straight man, and you don't find Kate Beckinsale attractive, that's a frickin' virtual slap for you. And Bryan Cranston pulled out the best performance he could with what he had. Jesse, we need to cook. Now let's get into the bad. Remember how I said the visuals were very, very awesome? Well, they were, in some points. But, at a lot of other points, I felt like I was watching Call of Duty Future Warfare. This movie was basically the campaign mode for your typical blockbuster video game. It also felt like this movie was trying way too hard to be ambiguous with the whole, is Colin Farrell living this life or is he living this life? What's the real life? And it's like this for the first 2 acts, and then, without even explaining it, it just abandons that concept. And it was just stupid. Which leads me to the script. This script for this movie, the screenplay, was very messy. Very messy. You should never make a screenplay based around puns unless you have Arnold Schwarzenegger in your movie. That's the only exception. The only exclusion. Total Recall is also like Cliché City. Name every action cliche in the book and it's probably there. And all in all, nothing new was brought to the table. I mean, I haven't seen the original movie in a long time, but I can already remember that nothing was brought to the table, aside from maybe the visuals, but even the visuals in the original movie were awesome, so it makes no sense to remake this movie. Oh, and those synthetic guardians in this movie, they were pretty cool in terms of design and their mechanics, but they were also what reminded me of really big rip-offs of stormtroopers from Star Wars. Total Recall is an uninspired mess that brings nothing new to the table, and even though the performances all around are decent, it doesn't make up for the movie itself. And it is fun. I mean, if you can turn off your brain for an hour and a half or whatever, how long this movie was, I don't even remember, you can have fun with it. But you're better off watching the original Arnold Schwarzenegger. This movie is getting 2 out of 5 stars from me. This movie is like air. It just exists. I mean, you don't always normally realize that it's there, but it exists. It is there. I am John from Maffmanjones Reviews. See you next time.